started. So there we go. So as we get rolling on this, just a big thanks to Richard for providing time for this. The goal here is just to make us all more proficient with the system, better able to serve our students, whether that be day-to-day kind of processes or personalizing things in your courses, and that's where the focus will mainly be, right? So we've had a team, your colleagues working in the background. There's 11 of us working on the database. So basically, as far as errors found in the database, I'm sure there's still small portions, but we got the main systematic kind of errors all cleaned up. So thanks a lot to this team of folks, and also to the StudyForge support with our scripts. And so we're getting there slowly but surely, and we can see the light at the end of the tunnel as far as finishing that up. So we started off with 60-some thousand questions, and being able to clean them up, improve them, and also remove all duplicates to make ourselves more efficient and accurate in the future. So we got it down to under 30,000 at this point. So we're kind of in that. We're kind of heading down that last stretch, so to speak there. And so hopefully, that being said, you don't run into many reasons to actually be fixing questions. It's more that you have other reasons for adding questions and stuff like that, which I'd still suggest that if you can post them in the discussion forum, working together, we can all kind of improve that database as we go forward. But there'll be things that you kind of want to just from a personalization point of view. And so that's where we're focusing here. But I also want to just point out that, they're short sessions. And so Richard has agreed that he'll offer another session if it seems valuable to everybody. So let's get through this one, learn a bunch of things. And if at the end we decide that, you know what, a little more detail in this area or that area, whatever, we can set up another session for next week or the week after or what have you. So fairly flexible from that point of view. So anyways, that being said, turn it over to Richard, and let's talk about modification in the question and quiz point of view. Thank you. Oh, Richard, you're muted.
We try again. So you mentioned short session, Brent. How long do we have? We have 30 minutes today, or 45?
Yeah, we had it booked for 30 minutes. So so kind of a quick lunch break for everybody. So yeah, let's try and
all right,
round that.
We'll go fast then. Okay. So I won't share too much other than I'm excited. This is something we've been working towards building for a while. It's one of the reasons why I think WCLN was excited to partner with us. And that's the vision that is finally achievable and available today, is that you have access to all the WCLN tests, but they can also be fully customized, and you can tweak them to your heart's content, every type of thing. So you get the centralized updates, but you get full control. So hopefully that's having your cake and eating it too, best of both worlds. We're excited about it, so I'm excited to share about that. So I'm going to go over 3 things today. So first is becoming a beta user, and I'll explain why in a second. Then applying quiz settings in bulk. This has been hugely requested, and that's available as well now. And then editing quizzes. So there's a lot to go over there, and I'm going to go quick because we only have 30 minutes. So most of what I'm about to cover today is available at help.studyforge.net. So if you just go to that website, help.studyforge.net, and StudyForge quizzes, you'll see a bunch of tutorials here that says, how do I do whatever? So if you missed something, or I went too fast, or you don't want to watch a video to see how to do that, you can do that there. And you can see our release notes as well here. We'll be having a sign up form soon, so you can get notified when these are updated. But yeah, we're covering what we launched mid-January, which is called Teacher Questions. So, okay. Yeah, so just want to acknowledge my team. They worked incredibly hard, and they're coming to you from all over the world, actually all over the Western Hemisphere here. So different locations there. And these are the people who actually did all this stuff behind the scenes and made all the things that you're about to see. So First thing I'm going to cover is how to become a beta user. And you have to actually turn on the beta user to see everything that I'm going to do today. Now, why beta? It's our attempt at living out our core value of insist on integrity. That's one of our 4 key values we have on our team. And basically, at this point, we can't promise that everything is going to work totally perfectly with all of these features. There's still a bug here or there. There's still some things that we're working on improving. What I'm about to show you is really powerful, but some of the features are not as intuitive as we would like. So we don't want to say like, yeah, this is perfect yet. And like I said, there's going to be a bug here or there. And we're already redesigning several aspects of what you'll see here as we're working on bringing the same level of customization to lessons. Finally, your feedback is invaluable to that redesign. And our commitment to you is that we still intend to support this as if it is a regular feature, even though it's in beta. So yeah, in order to do that, I'm just going to show you how to become a beta user so that you can see the things that you're seeing here. So when you log into StudyForge, you'll see edit settings, but you won't see edit quiz. And that's the easiest way to tell if you have this feature turned on or not. So if you click on the menu in StudyForge here, top right corner, and go to account settings at the bottom. So this is, you can access this from a lesson or you can access it from a quiz. If you go to account settings, here it says become a beta tester. So you just click yes, I want new features, and then update your profile. And then once you've done that, then you will be able to see this edit quiz button. So that, if you see the edit quiz button, when you go to a list of attempts in StudyForge, then you have the beta features turned on and you're gonna have access to what I'm about to show you today. All right, so let's first go over applying quiz settings in bulk. And then we can take some quick questions about that. So this has been a hugely requested feature. Really excited to show you this. So again, anywhere in StudyForge, you get to this by clicking on the hamburger menu and going to manage quiz settings, and it says bulk apply. So I'm going to command click or control click on that, or you could right click and open in a new tab, but I'm just going to do it in a new tab here for a second to show you this page here. So this is the bulk apply quiz settings page. And this is a process page where basically you select a group. That's basically, a group is a class of students in your learning management system. So if we were to select a group like, I'm demoing from geometry today, so test teachers geometry, I get the option to select some students to add to this. So I'm going to select both students. No, actually, I just want to select test student 2 for now. Or I could clear the selection and I could apply to all the students if I wanted to. But this is a way to say if you have an IEP for a student and you want to like remove a time limit for that student for every test in the course, then this is the way you do it. So let's add test student 1. And now we need to pick which quizzes we're going to edit for that student. And you're only going to be able to see quizzes in this menu that student can access from your course. So I'm going to go to geometry because that's the course I'm doing from today. And let's say we want to do unit 7. And so there's a quiz here and a quiz here in unit 7. And let's go back and let's do the quizzes from unit 8 as well. So quiz unit 8, quiz unit 8. And as I'm clicking the quizzes, they're being added here. So everything that I want to change, oh, there's a third quiz there. Okay, there we go. That's 5 quizzes. Perfect. Now you can add all the quizzes from a course. You can also search in here. So if I just searched for quiz, I could find all the quizzes and check them off that way, or I could search for test, and now I have all the tests. So just, you can use the names of them to kind of find them quicker. That's a little handy thing. And then we go to the settings we want to apply. So let's say for this student, I want to change max attempts. I want to give them 3 attempts, and I want to take off the time limit. So time limit, in this case, I want no limit. All right. Whoops, max attempts 3 and time limit, no limit. Perfect. So that's it. Once I hit save settings and publish, then it will be applied. These changes will be applied to all of these quizzes. Now, one thing that can happen, I just want to show you that here quickly. So which ones do I have here? Reasoning and proofs and measurement. So I'm just going to pop over to one of those quizzes here for a second. If I go into a quiz and start editing the settings or doing some changes here, or go to the builder, let's say, yeah, well, I'll get there in a second, but let's say I had done something here and I saved something but I haven't published it yet. So we'll get to that in a second. I'm just going to pop back over here. You'll see a little warning appear. This little warning appeared because it says, hey, this quiz has unpublished changes. So the settings will be applied, but not published. So that's just a little thing that can happen. Take a look and watch for that warning. And we'll also get a warning when we hit save. So I'm going to hit save settings and publish. So to 4 of those 5 quizzes, the changes were applied and added to the quiz. But for this particular one, I had, so those changes are live to those students. So we just updated all those settings for this student and they're updated there. But for this quiz, they're not updated. So I'm just going to open that one here. Again, this is the same one that I was at before. So you can see here, this no limit is applied now, whereas before the no limit wasn't applied. And max attempts 3, that didn't get overridden. That's interesting. So this was supposed to be unlimited attempts, not 0. Okay. So in this particular case, I'm going to have to come in here and hit publish separately because that one had unpublished changes. So we'll get to that in a second. But you can now check this out and play around with it. I'm going to actually apply to test student 2 the same settings. So let's say, oh, I want to do the same for test student 2, but I actually wanted to, for that student, they're racing ahead. So I'm going to give just a particular password for you called slow down. And I'm going to save and publish. And it was applied, it's already done. And so if I come back over here and refresh, test student 2 now has the password slow down added to his settings there. So that is the bulk apply feature where you can now basically take any student or any group of students and you can apply settings to all of the you can apply settings to all of those students. You can apply settings to a group of students or particular students across many different quizzes all at one time, such as changing the password, etc. So that is bulk apply. Any questions about that feature? And then we'll move on to quiz editing.
There's Steph had a question that looks like I think we answered one question, and then Steph, if you can look at that. Oh, and then Tim asked about going cross course.
No, you can't apply across different courses. So you can only apply to one course at a time, but you can apply to all the quizzes in a course.
Hey, Richard, can I ask a really quick question follow-up?
Yeah.
So if I have a course and I'm going to make that my master, my blueprint, whatever it is, and I copy that out, will all the settings, and for instance, if I bulk apply that everyone's allowed 3-hour time limit instead of a 1, will that copy through to the copies?
No. No, it won't. So there's another way to do that within the platform that I'm not going to be able to cover here. So we'll have to connect about that another time. Maybe that's another webinar we can do, or just maybe some training we can push out. But yeah, that's a good question. Thanks, Tim. There is a way to do that for your whole institution for a quiz to set settings, but it would be better done in a different way. So this is more so, you know, for your one teacher in one class. Steph said, I've seen my class, but nothing is under select a group or select quizzes. So if you're not seeing any student, if you're not seeing anything here, you have to select a group first before you select quizzes. So if you're not seeing any groups here, that would be a really strange thing. So might have to just connect with us through a support ticket for that if you're not seeing any groups. All right, I'm going to, oh yeah, and thanks, Trevor, you answered another question about beta. So we're gonna move on to editing quizzes. I have my notes here, okay. So this is really exciting. I'm gonna come back to, where are we gonna do this? Let's do statistics quiz 1, that's where I think I was working. So if you go to a quiz, a Study Forge quiz, now I say the word quiz, a test, a quiz, an assignment, anything that is in our quizzing tool, I'm referring to as a quiz. So you can do this with any different thing here. So there's a place where test student, she or he has taken one attempt here. they have an attempt on quiz version 1. So that's just important. We'll come back to that in a second. So now we're going to click on edit quiz. So now that if you've become a beta user, then you have edit settings and edit quiz. Both of these actually take you to the same page. They take you to the kind of editing quiz page. One just takes you to the settings, one takes you to the builder. So they both take you to different places. So the first thing that you'll be prompted to do, we've already kind of covered settings. This works pretty much the same as the settings that you have access to already in the previous version. The difference with this is that once you have this set of settings, you can do the bulk apply here. And there's also, I don't have time to cover it today, but there's also presets. So if you can save some settings as presets and load those presets again and edit those presets later, that's all covered again in our knowledge base. Not going to cover that today. But what I'm going to cover is buildings. So we have 12 minutes left to hit this. Okay, so first thing to notice is that this says statistics quiz number 1, lessons 1 to 4. That's the name of the quiz of like the stock WCLN or StudyForge quiz that you have. But this says for students of test teachers geometry. Now, what is test teachers geometry? In that case, this is the name of the course in Moodle. I'm demoing from Moodle. It would be the same in Brightspace. So if I was to just go back to Moodle for a second, that's the name of this course. That's the name of your group in StudyForge. So the key thing to realize when you click that edit quiz button is that you're changing it just for your students. And that's all I'm really covering today. You're changing it just for the kids in this class. It's like this quiz is native to this course in Brightspace or in Moodle. So it's just going to affect these students here. And that's why it says, do you want to edit the questions on this quiz for these students? These edits will not affect students from other groups taking this quiz. So if you have other courses or other sections of those courses, these changes will not affect those other sections. So just keep that in mind. But this is a quick and easy way to just, I'm going to click edit. And now I have access to be able to edit and tweak and change anything about this quiz or test. So this is the same kind of editing tool that we use when we make quizzes, or WCLN uses when they make quizzes in this platform. And so what you're seeing right now is different groups of questions because that's what was there in the master test. So these are called pools, and pools are basically randomized sets of questions. I'm going to, just for fun, remove all of these questions from the pool for now. So you can see what it looks like to just see a question. Or I can go into a pool to see the questions within a pool, and I can preview a question. And so you can just kind of click around here and start to play with it. And you really truly can start playing with it and hit save because your students won't have access to it until you hit publish. So we have a publish stage because you might want to start making tweaks and changes, but don't want a kid to accidentally take a test in the meantime while you're tweaking it or making your changes. So here are the questions that are in this group. Now you might say, oh man, I didn't like that pool of questions. Goodbye, delete. I want that gone. And in this pool, I don't know why they included this question over here. That was a terrible question. I don't want that to be in the pool. I can delete that question. You can combine things into a pool just by dragging them on top of each other. So I can drag them into a pool by dragging them in like this. So I basically come to this pool and I basically taken those 4 questions and turned them into a pool. And I could go, oh, I didn't like that question as well. Now I have a pool of 3 questions. So I've been tweaking and playing with that and editing that. I'm going to take them out of the pool for now. And let's talk about, let's talk about that for a second. So I'm going to hit save. And I'm just going to jump over to the history tab. And so here, this is where I had changed some settings via the bulk setting tool, and that's been published. But I've made some edits since. I moved some questions, I reordered some questions, I deleted some pools here. And so in this case, I have changed some things in the quiz. And this is like, you know, this question was moved, this question was changed out of the pool, etc. And I can see what I've done in the history there. So the great thing about the history tab is that you can make a bunch of changes. And if you don't like it, you can actually revert back to a previous version. So if you're like, I didn't like that, I want to go back to this version, you can come back here and hit the restore button, and then you'll be back to that previous version. So hopefully that gives you some confidence to play around and edit and tweak these quizzes. So the other thing that you can do is you could start to create your own questions and add them in here. So we're going to cover that really quickly. I'm going to hit create new question. And this is one of those things that we don't quite love the experience. You can see here, it opened it in a new window. And so once I finish it, I'm going to close the window and it will pop into my quiz. But I'm just going to call this a new geometry question. And then I'm going to hit this button here to add a new question type. Now this is really fun because StudyForge has a lot of really cool different question types. So there's these questions with this little Desmos icon are fun mathy style Desmos questions that actually plug into the Desmos graphing calculator and stuff there. I'm not going to get into how to create different questions, but I'm just showing what's there. There's chemistry style questions. There's all your basic fill in the blanks, labeling things. There's graphing type questions. There's math. There's written questions, like you can have someone record a video of themselves or audio, or everything that you could pretty much imagine. We have different question types for. So I'm just going to make, though, for now, for the speed factor, just a basic standard multiple choice question, and it is what is round, and you would change this to triangle, and you'd change this to square, and this to circle, and then we're going to delete the fourth option, and then circle is the correct answer. And I'm going to just hit create question. So now I have a question here, and now I can hit save changes. I can preview my question. I can do lots of different things here, but I'm just actually going to close this window, and you'll notice that my new geometry question has populated into the quiz, just like that. So once I save the questions there, I can click edit again, and I can go back to that screen to edit it. You'll also see your most recently created questions here on the right. So if I create a new question, then I can find it here. I can't, this one's locked because you already have this question in your quiz. So choose a different one. So I could pull over previous questions that I had made as well and pull those into my quiz here. The other thing I can do is explore other quizzes. So I could go, if I wanted to like combine multiple quizzes into one quiz, I could go let's go into geometry, and this is unit, I'm in statistics, I think. So no, yes. So I could pull in, say I wanted to combine two quizzes into one, I could come here into lessons 5 to 7 quiz, and I could pull over any of the question pools from there. Now I'm going to pull this one over into my quiz here. There we go. Okay, so I made a bunch of changes, and I'm going to save, and I'm going to publish this now. So now that it's published, it's live to my students. So I'm going to come over here to test student 1, and I'm going to pop into quiz 1, and I'm going to take the quiz, and then I'm going to stop here in just a second and answer some questions. Oh man, what did I make the password? That's fun. Math is great. Okay, good. Okay, so this has an audio recording response because that's one of the custom questions that I had made. So I'm just going to quickly pop through and do this quiz and probably do terribly because I'm not actually looking at this. Okay, and there's 3 of the same question because I kind of, I know I'm going to get that one right. Okay, sweet. Good, and then this question, I could record some audio here, but yeah, it warned me that because I'm in an iframe that might not work. Okay, submitted the quiz, and now it's been submitted to the teacher. So coming back over here to the teacher, if I want to go back, if I'm editing a quiz and I want to go back to see the attempts, I can click on this little reference link right here, and this will take me back to the activity report. And now I can see that test student 1 has taken the quiz and it's pending scoring. But this little thing on the side here shows quiz version. And this is really important because it will show you the attempt that was taken earlier today, right before this, when I was prepping, was taken on version 1, and there's no little icon here. So that was version 1 of the main master course quiz. This student has taken what we call the group quiz, the specific one that I've edited just for this class of students. And so it tells you which one it was created by and the version there. So I could click on this and it will take me right to the version that that student took, but I can then see, so you always know which version your students took of the quiz. Last thing that I have to show you here is one more thing on editing this quiz, is that not only can I create my own questions and intersperse them with WCLN questions, I can go to any question, even if it's a WCLN question. Now, these questions were not ones that you had created, but I still see an edit icon. And you'll notice that it looks a little bit different. This says copy and edit this question, whereas this one just says edit this question. So what happens is if I was to click on this one here and click copy and edit this question, because your question is being duplicated, please wait. What StudyForge just did is it made a copy of the original WCLN question, or in this case, I think it's a StudyForge question. And what I can do here is I can edit the existing question to go like, I just don't like the way that this is worded. I want to change it. I really want it to say at the end here, based on the data, which number of correct answers is most likely and what percent of the 100 trials does this represent? Please do your best, you amazing student. I just want it to be more encouraging. Awesome. So I'm going to hit save changes on this question. And now the question's saved. And when I come back to here, it's showing that I have edits that are saved. This little red dot means I have unsaved changes. So I'll save it and I'll publish it and I'll preview the quiz. And you'll see for that question there, I said, please do your best, you amazing student. So not only can you add your own questions, you now have a really quick ability to tweak and edit existing questions as well on quizzes if you don't like them there. So you are fully 100% in control of the quizzes and how they work. So really quickly, I'm not going to cover all this now specifically, but let's say you've made a bunch of changes. Remember I said that these changes only exist in this Moodle course. That's the only people who ever see this quiz. If you want it to be seen by others, there's actually another way to edit and create your own custom quizzes. But in order to do that, you have to go through the process of creating a custom course. I'm not going to cover all of that here. That's again covered on the knowledge base. But once you have one of those, you can copy this quiz into one of your private courses. So there's this geometry copy here where I could place this course, this quiz either in a chapter or somewhere else. And if I do that, it will take this quiz, make a copy of it and put it in that other location. And then I could go into a different course in Moodle and make an LTI link to that quiz. And then that quiz, you could actually customize across your whole school. That's where you put like a master, you might make SD 157 custom geometry course. And in that course, you might put a bunch of quizzes that you've tweaked and edited, and then you would change the links in your Moodle to point to all of those quizzes. And that's how you could still centrally have quizzes that you have full control over. And again, your teachers could use this to customize them on their course level if they choose, but you would be the ones in control of this, what says original quiz history. So this is where the master quiz is, and this is only editable by the person who can edit the course in StudyForge. This history here is for the custom quizzing, where every teacher can go in and change and tweak and edit their quiz. So that was a lot. Half an hour was probably not enough time to get through all this. I'll stick around for as long as anybody wants and answer questions, but I know we're out of time, and so that's the gist of it. Again, these features are available on the support hub. If you go to teacher questions and that release, you can see specifically like how to duplicate those types of things, etc. But that is an exciting update where now you can be in full control of your quizzes and still get updates when questions change or updates are made. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it. And any questions? I see a question from Deborah, so I'll answer that one. And then if you have other questions, feel free to chime in.
Yeah, that was a question that
Thanks.
I had in terms of editing. I don't see a way to easily see what kind of question it is. Is it possible?
Great question. The type of question that it is shown in this type icon here. So that's the icon for multiple choice right here. But yeah, so right here you can tell that this is a multiple choice. This is multiple choice. This here .. means that it's some kind of written submission. And those icons correspond to when we go to edit a question. And I want to add a new section to a question, they correspond to these icons here.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Okay, so I can find that. I can find those icons and what they relate to. Where is it that I'm finding it in the summary?
When you
Editing.
create a new question,
Okay,
yeah, when you edit
create
a
a new
question or create a new
question.
question,
Yeah.
yeah, when you create a new question, you'll get this list on the side, and then that,
Fabulous.
yeah, that icon there corresponds to the type of question here. But that's a great point. Like
Fabulous.
these are the kind of things where it's feedback. If we had a little mouse over here that showed, oh, this is ... this is another type question. This is a multiple choice type question. So that's a note I'm going to add to my note on features.
Richard, I don't know if you want to add this at the same time, but I'm looking at the pre-calculus 11th course right now, and a lot of the multiple choice questions are other type apparently. They've got the ... So I'm not sure why that is.
Oh dear.
If that's a us problem or a study board's problem.
Yeah, I'd have to look at the specific. Can you send me the link of the quiz at some point, Trevor? That would be helpful. Okay. Add mouse over for question type icon. Awesome.
I just have a question about custom courses, if I may.
Yeah, can I answer? Is Deborah? Can I just wait? Is Deborah still here? I want to answer her question first, or she's left already. Oh no,
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, that was the question. Okay, perfect. Okay.
Yeah, that was a question. Thanks so much. Love the changes. Thanks.
The custom courses, can we do that in a course that already has students in it, or is that like something we need to do before students start writing quizzes and doing assignments and things?
Yeah, custom courses because you're changing the LTI link. You're basically, it's like you would have to add a new quiz to your course. So the challenge is, it can be done, but it has to be done carefully, because just think of it again. If you make a new LTI link to a course, you're going to add it to your gradebook as a different quiz. So the custom course thing can definitely be done. It can be done mid-year, but you kind of have to do some fun gradebook stuff when you're doing with quizzes. You can actually do it with lessons quite easily, because lessons don't send back to the gradebook. And if a student could access a lesson, now access a different lesson, they likely won't notice, and their progress will also carry forward. But when it comes to a quiz attempts are made on these specific reference IDs that you see. Oh, am I still sharing my screen? Yes, I am. Okay. Like this reference ID here, 12457, that's what would change if you had a new LTI link to a different quiz. So the attempts list would be gone if you just deleted that link. So never delete a link to a quiz that has attempts. You can always add it back, but the attempts will go in two different quizzes. So that's the only downside with doing it mid-year. It can be done, but it has to be done carefully. Yeah, you could unlink a quiz to a grade item, add the new quiz. So Tim, you're correct. So that would work because of the way that the Brightspace gradebook works. You can associate a gradebook item to something different. I wouldn't recommend doing that with an LTI quiz, though, because again, you're not going to be able to access previous attempts to know why students got something different. Or you would be able to access it, but if you change those previous attempts or a mark changed or something, you could play with it. I just don't know. I don't know how it would affect, the mark communication back and forth between StudyForge and D2L. Yeah, it's messy. It's doable, but it's messy. Whereas doing this custom editing quiz stuff mid-year, this is totally valid. And the only way that the versions are here, so you'll see the difference here. Version 1, version 5, different kids got different versions, but it's all in the same place, all at the same link, right? It's at this link, 12457.
Okay, so
Questions?
with everybody's time in mind, should we be summing this up a little bit? It looks like, and Tim has some great questions about ideas for master courses, stuff like that. I certainly get the sense that we should continue this conversation. And I'm also going to guess that maybe a little bit of time between now and the next one might be an idea for people to play around, have a little bit of chance to fool around with the what you've learned so far, and maybe make a few notes and come back with that kind of idea. Looking at a calendar, do we want to kind of aim at February 23rd for the next one, maybe? Does that sound like a reasonable one where we have a little time in between to play and then come back? Because I mean, the thing is that Richard's awesome at this, throwing out a pile of information really fast. But I'm sure everybody's reeling with the idea that, okay, this is very cool. I'd like to try a little bit here. We're in report card time, so I got to find some time to fit this in. I got a few other things going. So February 23rd, do we have any opposition or thumbs up on that we can kind of continue this conversation? Do the noon to 12:30 kind of thing again? All right, let's assume that, okay, all I see is thumbs. I don't see any negatives on that one. So yeah, we'll plan for the 23rd. Richard, if you are able to answer a couple more questions, great. Or if not, we'll push it off to the 23rd, whatever works for everybody. But that'll be the plan, and I'll stop recording and we'll go from there.
Melissa, I can answer Melissa's question as well in the chat. It was like,